Alright, hello guys. In this video we're going to be talking about our weekly forecast from January 26th until February 2nd. Now before I get started with this video though, I would ask that you do subscribe if you do like weather related content, and also make sure to share this video with your friends and family if they also enjoy weather related content. Let's get right into things. First things first, we're going to be looking at last week's temperature forecast and comparing it to what actually happened. So take a mental memory of this one. We have some warmer temperatures out there in the west, there for Montana and Wyoming, and then there for the Great Lakes as well. We have some colder temperatures for Missouri, Iowa, and then up through the Dakotas, southern Minnesota, a little bit of Nebraska and Kansas as well in the southeastern United States. All right, now let's take a look at what actually happened. 3, 2, 1. And you can see, I think it did a really good job actually, but you can let me know what you think in the comments down below. I think we did a really good job of getting an idea of where the warmest temperatures would be and where the coldest temperatures would be. Anyway, in the comments, let me know how this forecast did in your opinion. I guess 1 through 10, grading on that. All right. So we're about to get into this week's precipitation forecast, and then we'll start talking about the temperature forecast, and then our what we call our special note segment of the video, which is where we talk about specific events there that are going to be going on during the week. But first things first, we have our precipitation forecast coming up, where we're going to have a lot of areas with above average precipitation and some areas with some below average precipitation as well. So let's get right into that. Alright, so here's our first area, and this is going to be our above average precipitation region, our first one here. This is going to be for Washington, Oregon, Idaho, in through Montana and Wyoming there, where we're going to be dealing with some slightly above normal precipitation for all of these regions. On paper, it will be above normal, but a lot of these areas you might not notice it too much. There will be some pretty frequent storms for this area though, which I expect should lead to some above normal precipitation and some pretty noticeable above average precipitation at that. So let's take a look at our second layer here, and this is going to be our moderately above average precipitation region here for the coasts of Oregon and Washington, where we're going to be dealing with a little bit more precipitation for these regions as compared to the surrounding regions there in the more lighter shades of green. All right, now we have a second area of above normal precipitation, and this one's going to be down there for the southeastern United States in Florida, and then for some of those deep south states like Louisiana, and then also up through Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas. All of these areas will be moderate, or actually better yet, slightly above normal as far as precipitation is concerned. And again, some of these areas it might be pretty noticeable, but others it'll only be on paper above normal as far as precipitation is concerned. All right, now we're about to get into our below average precipitation regions. There's going to be two pretty big ones, one there for the eastern United States and then one there for the southwestern United States. So let's talk about that. All right, so first things first, here's our first below normal precipitation region, and this one's going to be for the eastern United States. We see some areas in the southeastern United States, some up there for the New England states, and then the Great Lakes states, and even some of the central states of the United States. A very wide area of below normal precipitation. I think it could be quite dry, borderline no precipitation for some of these regions. And then some of these areas could get some, so it might not be quite as noticeable, just like the other first shade areas. And also we have a second area of below normal precipitation here for California, Nevada, through some of the four corner states like Arizona, Utah, and Colorado. Same story here, maybe not noticeable, but it could be noticeable as well for some of these regions. We actually have a second shade of brown here as well for California and a little bit of Nevada there, and that's where it's going to be moderately below normal precipitation, and it should be more noticeable here, especially considering it's California and Nevada. You're probably dealing with pretty much no precipitation. Looking at this map as a whole, you can tell we've been dealing for weeks and weeks and weeks, if you've been keeping up with this series, a lot of precipitation up there in the northwestern United States. We've been dealing with a lot of storms moving onshore, and a lot of times those head down into the southern Rockies, not this week though. And even California's been getting some on the occasional week, but really this week is again going to be a pretty dry one. And then out east, as a whole, the Great Lakes in the eastern United States have been kind of dry actually. If you look at it on paper, we've been dealing with quite a few dry weeks here in December, January, that time frame we've been dealing with a pretty lack of storm. We've been seeing 1 or 2 a week maybe, which is just not enough to get us up to our average. So that's why we've been dealing with some quite dry conditions here in the eastern United States. All right, now we're about to get into our temperature forecast, where first things we're going to talk about are above normal regions and then our below normal regions as well. And then we will get into our special note segment of the video, which is also very, very exciting. All right, so first off, we have our very, very large area of above average temperatures here. You can see it's almost the entire United States with the exception of the southeastern United States. Just an absolute torch this week. It's been so warm this winter, guys. Let me know what you're thinking about that. I know a lot of you have been wishing for the cold, and it's just not coming together. Hopefully February holds some different news, but we'll have to just wait and see for that, obviously. But the northeastern United States is looking quite warm. The Great Lakes, South Central, the Midwest, the upper Midwest, and then there for the Rockies, the Northwest, and the Southwest. Pretty much all of the regions except for maybe the Deep South and the southeastern United States there, as well as the Smoky Mountains and the Southern Appalachian Mountains as well. And, all of these areas in the orange, again, it's going to be maybe noticeable and then maybe not noticeable. It just depends on where you're at. But really, on paper, you will be above average temperatures for this time slot here. And we actually have a second shade of orange here as well for portions of Washington, Oregon, Idaho, through Montana, and a little bit of northern Wyoming, and then the very western regions of South Dakota and North Dakota there. We're going to be dealing with moderately above average temperatures for these regions, and this is where it's going to be a lot more noticeable than surrounding regions, so definitely expect quite a warm week here. And we've been dealing with some deep cold for these regions at times, and then also some really warm temperatures at times, so it's been really flip-floppy for this region out here just to the east of the Rockies especially. It's been kind of weird. Let me know if you live there in those regions in the comments down below. All right, now we're about to get into our below average temperature segment of the video, where we're going to talk about the southeastern United States, which is going to be exciting to take a look at. All right, so as you can see here, for states like Florida, Georgia, Alabama, South Carolina, North Carolina, and a little bit of the mountainous regions of Tennessee, including Chattanooga there, maybe even. We're going to be dealing with slightly below average temperatures for this region, and I was kind of debating not really having this and just having average, but I do think that we will have some spotty areas of below average temperatures in this region, if not just so slightly below average. Or just, straight up average in these areas. But I do think that we will definitely have some scattered in below average temperature regions within the states, again, of Alabama, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, or North Carolina there. Going to be dealing with some slight cold there. But, it's not going to really be deep cold, obviously. That's not an area that we typically would see those types of conditions. So don't expect it to be anything too crazy. Definitely just a warm week overall. Kind of going to slide us into the beginning of February, but I don't think it's going to be too telling of how February will go. We'll just have to wait and see how that's going to go overall. All right, now let's get into our special note segment of the video, which is always my favorite part because it gives me a really good opportunity to talk to you guys about the upcoming potential storms here. So our first special note is going to be stormy out west, and it seems like I always have this because, well, it always seems to be very stormy out there. And obviously California and Nevada, I don't know why I put this in there. I'm actually making this very early in the morning, so I'm a little bit sleepy. So now looking back, I don't know why I put California and Nevada, so you just have to kind of ignore that. But definitely not looking too stormy for those regions. As you saw before, we were expecting drier than normal conditions, but outside of there, out west, definitely going to be dealing with some potential storminess throughout some of these regions. Definitely, particularly for the northwestern United States, I would say, through the northern Rockies and then in through Montana and a little bit of Wyoming as well. Definitely could be dealing with an active storm track during this week. Multiple storm chances there. And then a very exciting one here for special note number 2. And this is actually going to be our final special note. And this is going to be primarily for the 2nd through like the 4th or 5th. So this is definitely just ending our week, closing it out. We're going to be dealing with something big that could be brewing. I wanted to mention this. I honestly probably this is going to be starting mostly on the 3rd, but I definitely wanted to go ahead and show this because I did want to talk about the potential for something to be showing up here for the northeastern United States, at least the interior United States there, as we've been seeing obviously Western New York has been getting some snow, and then northern Vermont, northern New Hampshire, and northern Maine. But there is that slight chance for the coast to maybe get in on this one. I don't want to speak too early because we've obviously seen chances like this, and then they get completely dwindled away. And that's what yesterday's video was about, I believe. Yeah, that's what yesterday's video is about, just these chances completely dwindling away. So I don't want to speak too soon. But definitely the chance for something at the end of the week, to say the least. There will be some sort of storm, whether it's offshore or onshore, but that will take time for us to determine, obviously. But definitely something exciting is coming up towards the end of the week into the early portions of next week. So think 3rd, 4th, 5th of February. Definitely a time frame to look forward to here. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, be sure to share it with your friends and family, and I'll see you guys in the next video.